Cut 'em up like half a DeVito. Stitch 'em up like Lilo. Put 'em down on the real though. Hey, what a song about this evil. If you do, you my people. Open up the steeple. Dust 'em up like Cheeto. Hey, what a song about this evil.
So this is actually getting bigger as it goes. We just talked about this over on our other channel, Marfoogle News, and thank you for everybody that actually joined us from that show. But that was kind of the most important. And again, this is one of the craziest things ever so far this week, because PLA has essentially done a drill that is more massive than anything we have ever seen. Essentially, it says... and by the way, I wanted to get past, I didn't get down to this paragraph on the other channel, which I wish I did. Let's see here. In fact, let's see. Let's see here. So it said that Taiwan has tracked at least 143 PLA warplanes and 56 warships entering its air defense identification zone in the past 4 days, with 68 sorties entering the zone between 6 a.m. on Wednesday and 6 a.m. on Thursday, the most in any 24-hour period this year. However, a source close to the PLA told the Post that the number of PLA aircraft involved is actually more, that they have J-20 stealth fighter jets. Now, people are very torn on what is actually happening in the world. Many people believe that it's all a big circus, whatever it is. I believe that war is actually going to be used to bring in and usher in essentially a whole new world, and that it's coming very fast. That every single day there is some sort of movement, whether it's incremental or large, towards a massive conflict. And I don't know why people are pushing back on that so hard, but again, it's because most people are, I think, in the back of their minds, afraid of it. So we're going to cover this and much, much more tonight on Marfoogle TV. Tonight is a call-in, so we definitely want you to get in at a 2244-00-MARF. That's, again, 2244-00-6273. So if you want to get on the phones, wait until after we bring in Dex, and then you can start calling. We will be right back right after this. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough.
Like Lilo, put 'em down on the real though. Hey, what a song about the evil. Cut 'em up like half a DeVito. Stitch 'em up like Lilo. Put 'em down on the real though.
Hey, so if you've never been here before, make sure to go over to marfooglenews.com, and you can find every single article, tweet, video, picture, document. All you have to do is look for today's thumbnail. Again, 56 ships. Is this the real thing? Alert issued, sheltering underground. Is it starting? More strikes. Once you click on that, you will find a full bibliography of all of our sources so you can check our work. Hey, thank you, chat. Thanks. There's a lot of great people that are popping in tonight. Jay Poe, thank you, Jonathan Floming, Stephen McMahon. We have, thank you, mods, again. And then Leah West, what's going on? We have Robert Crackadon. We've got Shell Spells. We've got Deborah Linebarger. Thank you so much. And Salta Paul. Thank you for being here, along with Stephanie Munoz and Mr. Dosen. Hi. Nice to see you here. And then Gail and Humble Child, thank you, says this world is kaput. Well, it's getting there. I think that it's always going to be around. It's not going to be around like it used to be. We were just talking about this yesterday, how essentially everything is falling apart. And people call that pessimistic kind of statement, but it's kind of where it's at. If you look at culture, if you look at financial institutions right now, if you look at conflicts with countries, division is at the worst. And some go, well, you could, if you're looking that out, you're going to find it. At this point, it's to the point where you can't not look that out. You can't avoid it. You know, a few years ago, if there were things going on or if the economy was bad, there were plenty of things to outweigh that were going good. Or you could say, oh, the world's going bad, but there was hope for things. People are losing hope, and that's when you start really falling apart, is when you have people that are losing hope in their actual system. That is when you know it is doomed. Essentially, folks do not believe in the system that actually picks our person who runs the country. And once that happens, it's a downhill from there. If you really think about it, doesn't matter who is picked to run this country. At this point, nobody's really going to believe it anymore, or they're going to think something shady for the rest of forever. That's not a good thing. Especially, it's either side wins, it's going to be an argument from here on out. So this is where things get really bad. Meanwhile, in other countries, the same countries that are buying up huge swaths of our media, of our land, of our companies. I just found out American Apparel is now owned by China. American Girl, two companies like that you would think have to be American. American Girl, the toys, the dolls, China. I'm like, how does that happen? How does China buy American Apparel, right? Which again, they were like going on bankrupt and essentially got bought out. But there's a lot of places that are beholden to China. Even Forbes magazine is essentially owned by China. Tesla has huge investors in China. Owns a giant stake in Tesla. So there's a lot of these companies that are essentially doing things that just don't make sense. Our culture is doing things. And then when you look at who owns all these companies, who's on the board, it starts making sense why these choices that I don't think we would ever take on our own. These wouldn't be like grassroots thing like, hey, let's add this to the docket. No, these are being put on by corporations. The pushes for us to change the way that we look at the world is all happening from the corporate level down, putting messages on the side of skyscrapers that essentially people would never, ever have, 10 years ago, things that nobody really gets. Well, either way, tonight's a call-in show. Tonight's your night. So please be the star of the show. Give us a call at 224-400-MARF. And again, let's bring in my co-host / internet brother and who will be on the phones tonight, Dex James. What is going on?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So we have, by the way, Lisa Creekmer and Jeremy Gold and Z3. Thank you so much for subscribing. As always, if you are a new subscriber, if you subscribe during the show, I will always try to shout you out. Thank you so much. Again, we appreciate each and every person that walks in the door. And so does the community. They're all really great people down there. So make sure to hop in the chat and get to know people. If you can, do a quick roll call of just a general, not specific, but where are you from? What state? A lot of the times you'll find somebody from that same state. You'll instantly have something in common, and that's how friends are made. The more you know. Actually, that might be trademarked, so better be careful on that. Either way, the phone lines are now open at 224-400-6273. Make sure to pop over there. And then make sure to also go check out marfooglenews.com/friends. All of our great mods are over there. And again, great people there. Make sure to go check out their channels and subscribe. A great way to pay back all the service they do for the community. They're always helping people find the right links, find, of course, any kind of channel that's in the friends and family network. So make sure to just ask them if you have a question about anything. All right. And so China, largest drill ever. This is not going well. I would love to get your opinions on this. And Dex, I know the phones are basically opening up, but if you do have time to pop in, feel free on the Taiwan story.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, with the drills and the numbers that they're reaching, this is indicative of what we've been reporting for the last week now, with the amassing of troops or equipment, mostly planes and other things, along the airfields that are closest to Taiwan. So, seeing all of that as we've been reporting in the last few days, now getting these actual numbers coming in, and then the numbers that are coming in aren't even accurate because there's so many stealth ships that are flying as well, that aren't necessarily being tracked. So, if this is a new, I don't know if it's a new norm, but it certainly is a new position to be in, with the potential precipice of this, conflict kicking off, or something happening between China and Taiwan. It just seems like the brink is almost here.
Well, and also as far as the Fugel fam was right. A military member out of Fugel fam said that they were worried. They were worried about China, Navy member, worried about China and their ghost Navy. So I wonder, because yesterday it was like 20 ships were going to be participating in the drills. Now they're seeing something like 56 ships. That's huge. That's bigger than all of the 30-country NATO largest exercise in history. That's more ships than that. So I wonder if some of those that make up that 56, I wonder if some of those are part of that ghost Navy, where they've taken essentially civilian ships, civilian fishing ships, and they've basically posted up 50 cals on them, or 40 cals. I don't know. Somebody corrected me one time. I think they're 40 cals, but they're basically civilian militia that are on fishing boats, and because they're fishing boats, they don't have to have their transponder on. That was the kind of theory behind it, and I believe it's confirmed that that's the reason they do it, because the fishing boats don't always have to have their transponder on, and they can kind of stealthily go around. And from satellite, all you see is a fishing ship with nets, but in reality, it's actually a military ship going under the direct orders of the CCP. So pretty crazy. Think about the world we're in. We're in such a different world than they are over there. I was just watching another documentary about how crazy it is there. The social credit score we all talk about, we all say like, oh, it's getting there. There, it's actually happened. When the camera looks at 100 people crossing street, like a busy New York street, like you can imagine New York in Times Square with hundreds of people walking, it can catch every single face, and it boxes them out, and it assigns them a number. It has a number. They have a number, and it will say, 2456825, and it will know that person. It's got a file on that person. It has a social credit score on that person. If that person, say, logs into an app and learns about Xi's family history, that will raise their score. If they leave their bicycle out on the street, if they park their bike in the wrong place, they could have that score go down. If they jaywalk, if they talk back to a cop, any of these things could get your score low. And how you spend your money, that is tracked there. And if you look at how much China has invested in the United States and how little the United States has been able to actually purchase and get things there, it's really uneven. And then you think about how much influence they have when they own the largest stake of a lot of companies, and they even just straight up own these companies. That's the crazy thing about the U.S. is, that's a freedom we don't think about, and it's like anybody can buy anything. If they have the money, they can go buy this thing. Yeah, they may pay taxes on it, but they can actually buy it. We're not actually allowed to buy things in China. You can't buy property there. If you do, it's like a 99-year lease or something. You never truly own it, and it can be taken back at any time, which I guess you could say the same thing about the U.S. But when you look at the system and how much they have ingrained themselves, it's starting to come clear to a lot of folks that in our community why all of this is happening, why all of the divisiveness is happening. My opinion, this is just my personal opinion, I think a lot of it is that country. And that country is not alone. It's actually involved with all of the very top families. Maybe they are the ones that they picked because the way that they do it will actually be best for the people at the very top. They like how China has basically tracked everybody. If you would think about it, if you were running an entire planet, like if it was a simulation or Sim City or something, You would think, well, yeah, it would be a whole lot easier to track 1.4 billion people if you could literally have some sort of profile. I bet it's functional, but it's not morally right. And that's the gray line that is being passed over, really a red line that's being passed over here in the United States, is slowly and incrementally they're doing things and testing us and saying, how much can we get away with? But as we know, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And they've taken hundreds of miles so far. And that's where people need to really plant their feet and stop letting it happen. Give us a call, though, 2244-006273. The number's always scrolling down below, so make sure to go call us and make sure to press option 4. You will find that you can get right through to Dex if he is free. Otherwise, keep trying. And then Jake, thank you, Paul Jordan, Red Hild. We've got Robert, thank you, Marianne Kinzel. Have we replenished our oil reserves? No. And yes, and a couple of people have brought up the train explosion. Again, we'll be talking about that later. And then again, that's we'll be hitting that here in a bit. And then UAW near strike at Detroit 3 as Ford blasts the union. The first ever simultaneous strike at Detroit 3 car makers by the United Auto Workers grew all but certain on Thursday, with little progress reported in the talks before the contract deadline expires. So, as you remember, we talked to a Foogle fam a few weeks ago that actually works at one of these plants, and they were relatively certain. They essentially, that call, which we've linked on tonight's show, I'm trying to remember their name. We just talked about this before the show, and I can't remember. It was, man, it's on tonight's show and notes. But they're probably in the audience right now, actually. But they actually called and said, yeah, it looks like we are probably going to be going on strike. And this was like a week before there was any of the real coverage of this. The problem with this is if this happens, this on top of everything else that's going on right now is going to hurt our economy. And I'm not talking about like a little dent. We already have dents all over the place. We basically have somebody doing the people's elbows on us right now. And this is going to be like somebody doing, a Triple H triple backflip on us. I don't know wrestling, but I tried. But it's not good. On top of that, we're going to cover here in a second that we're at $90 a gallon. Another Foogle fam said that they got word in. This is, again, from you guys, the community. Called in about Indiana and said, hey, gas is going to be $6-7, a gallon here soon in Indiana. Right after that, we had the OPEC do the reserves. They were the same person that called in and said that their school district told them that they were essentially going to be locked down by November or fall break. But they said that gas would be $7 a gallon or $6 or $7 a gallon. Right after that, you had OPEC and all of these things happen. So this, with all of the strikes, with the oil, with all of the other things that we're going to talk about, because there's actually an oil story here, you'll see that something is happening, and it's obvious that adversaries are really pulling strings here to try to screw us, or at least that's what it seems. But yeah, with the oil and everything else, it's crushing people. We're already paying $10 for a dozen eggs if you get the good ones. We're paying freaking $8 for bread and all sorts of things here. It's not good. Nobody can afford to live right now. So, and it's only going to get worse. So that's why we really got to prep and spiritually prepare for where this is going. And then we have emergency alerts on NATO territory as Russian drone attacks force Romanians into underground shelters. Now, this totally could have been over-exaggerated. This could be to set up a narrative for something to happen there. Romania was one of the first places out of all of the crazy places. Like Poland did their dragon's teeth on their border, basically tank, the things that block tanks from driving through their big cement triangles. They did that. A few other places put trenches and things like that. But Romania was one of the first places to actually do miles and miles and miles. I believe it's hundreds of miles of trenches in their country on their border. And so I did think in the beginning they were talking about Romania, and then it kind of fizzled out. Now it's back. Now Romania, it looks like it's being set up as it could be, Fantastic Freddy here. It's again, the emergency alerts went out, and people actually went to shelters. It says Romanian residents have been forced to take shelter because of ongoing Russian drone attacks near the border of Ukraine. It says emergency alerts were issued on Wednesday morning, urging people to find cover in their basements or makeshift concrete shelters built by the National Army's engineering units. It says that the warning came as UKR ports across the Danube were targeted in strikes by Vladimir Putin's forces. 8 villages in eastern Romania were sent messages on their phones to warn of the possibility of falling objects from the surrounding airspace. Now, go ahead, Dex.
Hey, Adam, I was just going to ask you, do you think that these alerts, because they didn't have this last time, when they did these strikes that were near the Danube River, they didn't seem like there was alerts, right? And they just told us that, some stuff fell onto Romania's land, and that's a NATO partner. Are they doing the alerts now because they really need to, or are they doing it because they're trying to make it make more hay out of it as it relates to this potential escalation with NATO?
And witnesses, right? You're going to have thousands and thousands of people say, yeah, I got the alert. They're going to go to social media. They're going to post their phone screen. They're going to go, I got the alert this morning. I went to a shelter. That gets the world's attention, right? When we see in the world, we see them going down in shelters, that's scary. So this could be fear-mongering, like the true fear-mongering, not like, oh, I want to be aware of events going on in the world. Like fear-mongering where they are doing it for a reason to further an agenda. That could be a thing either. I'm not saying that that's what it is. We also could see things pop off in Romania. I believe it will happen in Poland. It will happen in Poland or even possibly Finland. Something will go down. But Romania was never out of my mind because Romania was one of the first countries to dig trenches. And when that happened, it was like, why is Romania digging trenches? That looks like preparing for a massive European world war. Just so you know, in Europe right now, in 3 of these countries, they have trenches dug, the same kind of trenches we had in World War II. Russia, about 50 miles in, has 600 miles of trenches dug. Like, this isn't just your general, like, oh, we're going over there with 20 guys and a couple tanks. This is like, we're talking World War III. So hopefully everything just calms down. Calm down, Karen. Russian fighter jet fired 2 missiles at UK spy plane to shoot it down in terrifying near miss over the Black Sea. Now, I'll send you guys over to the Marfoogle News channel to get more of our opinion on this. Make sure to go over and watch those short videos. But essentially, they broke down and they actually added the audio to the event that we actually covered here on the show. Essentially, the Russian side said that they accidentally, or they believe that they did a malfunction, and that's why the missiles launched. 2 missiles were fired, and both missed. If they would have hit, it would have basically taken down this spy plane with 30 people on it. They're not even claiming that it was done to scare the crap out of them, that it was like a shot over the bow. They're saying that it was a technical malfunction and an accident. Either way, from this, it's like these kind of events could very well trigger Article 5 because this was a NATO member that this happened to. And also it was a spy plane with incredibly important folks on board. So, yeah, not good. Give us a call about it at 2244-006273. Again, we would love to hear from you. Let's see here. We're gonna head over there in just a second. We have Mateo. We're gonna get Mateo, aka Void Tech 8, on the line. While we do that, I do want to remind you, if you want to protect your cars, your trucks, and pretty much anything else from an EMP, this is a device that takes less than 10 minutes to put in your car, your truck, or your motorcycles, your boats, your RVs, or even your ham radio, or even your generators. If you have generators you want to protect against any kind of electromagnetic disturbance, then this is the thing to get. It is a device that can ground the signal in less than 500 trillionths of a second before it can fry your device, fry your car, even your house. They have a house version, again, that protects everything within 250 linear feet of where it's wired in. What this does is when it grounds the signal in that amount of time, then it will then ground it, and it can do it multiple times. And this also works to protect you against a Carrington level event. This can protect you from a sun event. This can protect you against an adversary's EMP or multiple EMPs. In fact, all three phases of an EMP or electromagnetic pulse. So make sure to go check this out. This could save your life. It's a thing you don't need until you need it. And once you need it, you're going to absolutely thank it. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP to get $50 off and to help our channel at the same time. Thank you for being patient. Thank you guys for supporting any of our affiliates, but thank you also for being patient for affiliates. We always make sure that they are products that we believe in, that we trust. This exact company is now working with agencies like DHS, DOD, and the DEMSO team. The one problem is they're not outfitting all of the civilian areas. They're only basically covering government, military, and this and that. So if you want to protect yourself, you've got to do it yourself. marfooglenews.com/EMP. All right, let's get Mateo on. Mateo, you are live on Marfoogle News.
Hey, buddy, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You're live.
You there? Awesome. Okay, thank you so much for taking my call, my second call. I'm not as nervous this time. I have a couple of tidbits of information I want to give the Marfoogle family. And it's
sweet.
It's going to be, it seems obscure, but all they have to do is take the information, and I advise everybody to have a pen and paper to write down what I'm about to say. Okay? If you guys remember, the last time I called, I told you guys I joined the Army in 1988, and I got out in 91. Okay? And now what I'm finding is, well, first, I had to sign a basically a non-disclosure agreement when I left the Army, that I wouldn't talk about any of the classified information that I encountered for 70 years, right? Well, that's invalid if somebody else comes out with the information. And now people are coming out with this type of information that people need to understand, okay? And it has to do with the wars going on in the Middle East, incessant, continuous wars. And it has to do with, just take, for example, and I can't give anybody any direct information to this. They need to look it up. In 88 or 89, there was a major archaeological find in Iraq. And they thought that they had found a tomb of an individual that everybody in the world was interested in. 2 years later, we went and we destroyed Iraq. And what's the first thing? One of the first things we did when we went to Iraq, we raided their museum. Now, I want to ask people, they need to ask themselves, why would we go in, the U.S. military, and raid the museum? Okay? It's simple. They're looking for anything that they can find to piece together what was found and is being found on a regular basis in the Middle East. One word that I would say people need to look up is Nimrod. Another person that is giving this type of information is an individual that has a YouTube channel called Israeli News Live. He talks about this. And then now I'm going to add some other obscure things that people need to look at. There's a movie that was, I don't know how many years ago, it wasn't that many years ago, but it was called Mortal Machine. The movie Mortal Machine. If you watch that movie, it basically lays out the events of what's happening right now, and what it has to do with this ancient technology that has been uncovered on a regular basis. And you always have the militaries move in, pull it out, take their secret, labs to study and stuff, right? Okay, well, this is what's going on right now with the UFO and the UAP phenomena, and what they're trying to disclose to the people. because what's about to happen is all of that tech that they've been putting together and finding and having, well, I guess I'd have to say assistance from who knows who on how to use it is about to be shown to the people. Lahaina is one aspect of that. There's various other aspects of that. And I just want to throw one more thing out there about 19.5 degrees north and south latitude. If you take a orb and you put a pyramid, an upright pyramid within that orb and an upside down pyramid within that orb, the base of the upright pyramid lands at 19.5 degrees south latitude. The upside down pyramid in that orb, its base lands at 19.5 degrees north latitude. If you look around the world, you'll find at 19.5 degrees north and south latitude, many interesting things. And here's another thing. Look at the sun. All of the sunspots that happen on the sun are happening at 19.5 degrees and 19.5 degrees south and north latitude. Same thing with the storms in Saturn and Jupiter. All this information is commingling right now. And that's the best I can do right now, buddy.
Well, Mateo, aka Void Tech, thank you again. Rip Curl, there was a comment there says he is 100% correct, and I'm surprised he is comfortable sharing this. As far as rating the museums and things like that, I just wonder how much of this, because a lot of people believe that the UFO stuff is them trying to distract us from what's really going on, or how much of it is they are actually coming out with it and things are about to change massively because there's going to be some sort of full disclosure. Not too many of us have faith that they're going to disclose everything, but as far as stuff like this, people just can't wrap their head around it. I would say people will wrap their head around, a 40-foot T-Rex walking around the planet, but they couldn't ever imagine, say a giant or something. I guess I wouldn't be surprised by anything at all.
Well, that's what's happening, and it's what is obscure about it is that they're telling people a part of the truth. Right? You can't deceive people without including a piece of truth, right? So you get 25% of truth, and the other percentage of it is deception, right? So when they come out and they say, okay, we're going to disclose all this UFO information that we have, have they really done that? Look how long we've been waiting for them, and all these people coming out from, different intelligence agencies saying this and that. They had the whole Congress thing, and, has anything come from that? No, nothing except a bunch of questions, right? They're playing with people's minds, and people need to stop allowing themselves to be played with.
Well, again, Mateo, this is really interesting stuff. There, I already saw a few comments. They hope that you call back. Don't be a stranger, Mateo. Now that you've gotten warmed up, call us if something else that you were involved with gets talked about by somebody else, because the more that you can talk about, the awesome.
You're on the top of my list. The minute I see something that comes out from another source that allows me to discuss some of this stuff, I'm on it, buddy. I'm on it.
And say hi to Steven over there. All right.
Oh, you got it, man. Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. If you look, I did one show with him long time ago. I went on his channel for about an asteroid. I think if you just type both their name in there, it should pop up. But make sure to go check that out as well. Thank you, Mateo, and you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, my friend.
All right. God bless. I've never seen this one. It says early Canaanite giant scale. This is something that, when I first kind of heard about it, I said, oh, no way. But I wonder, well, especially like and also they talk about in the Bible about people living hundreds of years old. And like he said, there's 25% truth, or something may be passed down, and the translation might be a little bit different, but like Goliath, right? was supposedly somewhat of a giant. What if there was, again, giants around that were part of a kind of an offshoot of species? I know there's a lot of folks here that actually thoroughly believe and say, of course they did. I'm not educated enough in the research on that, but I do know that there are some pretty big names that do believe that we're like at the edge of absolutely like proving it, or at least that's what they've said. We've covered stories about very actually well-renowned professors that not only believe in giants, but said that a lot of people were giant back then. I don't know much about that, but what's interesting is he said that they went in and raided all the museums and went right after stuff like that. That's kind of crazy. What do you think? Let me know. Give us a call at 224-400-MARF. And then thank you, Sweatin' Ministries. They are trying to erase biblical history. Well, at the same time, I'm probably going to be doing a story about Sodom and Gomorrah. Gonna probably do a video regarding that. But there have been some pretty cool things that have come out lately. And by the way, guys, I'm sorry. I told you guys last night I felt like I started to get sick. It's like, and actually the crappy part is I remember when I got what I thought was CV, or what everybody thought was CV. I will say this: when I got what they said was the sieve, that was different than anything I ever had. I did feel like that was made, right? But I had stuff behind my nose, and it was the weirdest head fog I've ever had in my life. I remember when I first woke up, I got hit by a truck. I mean, that's how it felt. I don't feel like I got hit by a truck, but I have that same feeling. And my kid brought it back from school, and it went through the whole family. So I am kind of sorry if I'm having a lot of brain farts and just not feeling great. So thank you guys for being patient with me. Yeah. So, and I've totally forgot my thought train there too. There's more than one train explosion today. My thought train is just off the rails. And then U.S. crude oil prices top $90 a barrel for the first time since November of 2022. And remember, in 2022 is when we had the huge, crazy peak of $6, $7 or whatever. In California, there was $8, $10. There was $10 gas. I believe there was $12 gas in one place, but no, I think it hit $10 in one place in America, and the news took that and ran with it. But what's even crazier, Foogle fam that told us about, possibly getting shelter at home type stuff in November, also said that their friend told them Indiana would have, crazy, crazy gas prices. Well, what's kind of nuts is the pattern or the graph here is going up. Right now, it is at $90 a barrel. It says it jumped U.S. crude topping $90 a barrel as expected of a tighter supply outlook grew. Now, remember, all of this is kind of being done on purpose, and that there's things that they're doing to make this worse. They're purposely doing things. And Saudi Arabia and all of these other countries, it's like Saudi Arabia all of a sudden is treating the U.S. like a stepchild. No offense if you're a stepchild, but again, it's not good. They're not answering JB's calls. Meanwhile, they're basically having Xi in their country on the red carpet. There's a lot of things. We're actually going to cover that here in a second, but it says from September onwards, the loss of OPEC plus production will drive a significant supply shortfall through the fourth quarter, the agency said in its monthly report. So this is not going well. And then armed guards deployed at all Jerusalem synagogues amid rising terror. Now, this, if you just read it, it really, I think that this is one that actually the picture does kind of throw something out there. Now, really think about this. This is more of a thinker than a reader, because think about what's happening right now. I want to remind you, there's actually like several mainstream media companies that have come out in the last 3 days and talked about the end of the world and signs of the end of the world. And they said that theorists, right, the conspiracy theorists, that word that CIA came up with to discredit people for JFK. Those theorists are saying, that there's all this stuff going on. Well, there is. There's at least 3 biblical prophecies that are happening right now. And right now, they're actually placing these guys outside of several holy places. It said at all Jerusalem synagogues amid rising terror. This could be something really big. If something pops off, this is another World War trigger right here. So this is not good. And this is, again, for the first time ever. An armed guard will be stationed outside each synagogue in Jerusalem as part of preparations for the upcoming high holy days. The timeline on this is very freaky. With China loading up their coastline, with everything else, with North Korea meeting Putin, with Cuba, with Venezuela, with all of these meetings going on at the same time, it makes me think, man, that something could completely pop off right now. I'm hoping it doesn't, and I'm not saying it will. But again, look at all of the things that are coming in right now. At the same time, there's all of these rumors that within a couple months, we're all going to be sheltered at home. It's wild to even think about. So, again, it says Israeli media reports tally 19 attacks in Jerusalem since the beginning of the year, with 31 other incidents successfully thwarted. Just before the holidays, police announced on Wednesday that they have completed preparations for the capital of upcoming major events. Thousands of police officers will be deployed at crowded locations and holy sites, according to Jerusalem District Police Commander Duran Turgeman. For the first time, armed personnel will be stationed at predetermined location in every synagogue in the city. That is absolutely nuts. So, not something that's it's not a good sign, to say the least. Give us a call at 224-400-MARF. Don't be afraid to call. Again, it's just 2 people talking with a few thousand people listening and everyone criticizing. Just come on, give us a call. Marion Bratton, thank you for subscribing. Lamar, thank you for subscribing. And I can't say enough. I really so much appreciate it, especially on days like this where I'm not at my top of my game. I so much appreciate that you actually took the time to subscribe and that you are taking the time to check out our channel. I do appreciate it, and thank you so much. Rumble the Clown, thank you for the super chat, and I appreciate your support. Be Real Beast, again, all just to take our eyes off of the creator. Lies, says Be Real Beast. And I'm sorry, I got to that a little late, so I don't know. I think that was regarding the last one. No, that was probably... Yeah. Oh, and I think I skipped a really important one here, so we're going to go back to that. Anna Walden, thank you. Snow Leo, nice to see you. It's been a minute. Snow Leo, thank you for the super chat as well. And then Swetnam Ministries, I didn't see that at the beginning. Keep looking up. Jesus is coming soon. Many of my friends feel something is coming as well, and many of them don't believe there will be another day where everybody drops something in the box and picks our prez, right? Well, I think it was even Mr. Gates that said the same exact thing. Said that, and I'll put that quote there. It's pretty crazy. Said that it would be a hung. I don't even say the E word anymore because they just want to knock everybody off for even talking about it. Shelly the Kiwi, thank you for subscribing as well. KT Cleans a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, Be Real Beast, thank you so much for the support. And Lisa Creekmer, thank you for subscribing. This one's important. I don't know how I skipped over this, but Senate subpoenas Saudi's $700 billion sovereign wealth funds over U.S. dealings. So this is an obvious sign that some parties are basically pissed off at Saudi Arabia. Something is going on. Maybe it's because there's actually some misdealings going on behind closed doors. Maybe this is why they're not answering JB's calls and they're rolling out the red carpet for China. I believe whether you see it or not, this might have something to do with China, with this coming conflict, that this is something bigger is happening here. It said that Saudi Arabia's $700 billion sovereign wealth fund, which has been used as a lever for global influence by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, has been subpoenaed by a powerful Senate committee after it refused to voluntarily comply with information requests about its U.S. dealings. The subpoena, which is issued by the Senate's Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, is targeting the public investment fund's wholly owned U.S. subsidiaries in connection to the group's proposed Gulf deal and related investments throughout the United States. Something is happening here. Now, Dex, I know that you're going to be on the phone with Torin, but if you did want to jump in, you had some pretty interesting stuff to say about this before the show. Are you able to jump in on the $700 billion wealth fund? And I realize you've got Torin and probably screening another. If not, you can just blink the light.
Hey, Adam, I'm here.
The $700 billion wealth fund. And you can go back if you can't step in yet.
Okay, yeah. Which article are we talking about?
The 700.
I'm lost.
The Saudi Arabia
okay.
700
yeah,
billion.
Saudi Arabia. Yeah. So this was interesting because, it's sort of like they're on one hand they're leveraging the U.S. economy. They're leveraging, funneling their money and managing their stuff through U.S. law. So on one hand, they get the benefit of the U.S. law, but on the second hand, when we ask them things that they're doing, or if we want to audit or we want to understand what's happening with their funds and the investment funds, and its wholly owned U.S. subsidiaries that are connected to it, they try to play like, oh no, we're not going to give you any of that. Well, I guess at this point, given the state of our relationship, which has sort of fallen apart in the sense that we've seen Saudis, join BRICS, partner up with China, sort of put their nose up to the U.S., raise our oil prices, and do lots of things that aren't necessarily in our interest anymore. But there's no reason for our politicians to sit back and give them a pass, so to speak. So now they're putting the screws to them and saying, hey, you can use, it's one thing for you to use our laws, but you can't completely ignore them. So we're going to call you on the carpet now and give us access. Tell us what's going on with this $700 billion wealth fund that you're managing. And that's, obviously the kitty of the crown prince. And this is pretty much a good, slap back in the face to the Saudis over it. And there's a lot of things they're discussing and a lot of reasons why they're discussing doing this, but it's certainly a tit for tat is the way I look at it.
Isn't Saudi Arabia also they're joining BRICS? Isn't that right? That they were invited and that they would formally be a part of it pretty soon here?
Yeah, I believe them and UAE from the ME and others, obviously.
This is war. I mean, this is financial war at the very least. With this, you can tell that something's going on. They don't want to show that the funds there because they're doing stuff with China, and probably we might have some good people left in office that are trying to that are saying, "Well, you're not going to scratch our back. We're not going to let you have your cake and eat it too." So, something shady as hell is going on here, and it's very obvious what's happening with BRICS, and then how they brought Saudi Arabia in the fold. Over the last couple of years, they're cutting production. They're doing all these things that hurt us. It hurts us. It doesn't hurt these damn politicians that buy $12,000 dresses. They buy $12,000 dresses to wear to Congress. Or no, sorry, they're pissed. Literally go on the Congress. I still can't believe it. You guys know I've talked about this a lot because it bugs me so much. For somebody who doesn't spend $100 on 10 outfits, I buy people get on me because sometimes I'll have a brand or logo on my shirt, but I spend $4 on a shirt. I get stuff on clearance. Like, I would never spend money on nice clothes unless I had to for work. And even if I did when I was wearing suit and ties, I would try to get the most affordable, thing out there. But this woman goes up there and she's complaining to Congress because she goes, I bought a $12,000 dress and I can't wear it to work. Not wear it to like prom or wear it to a wedding of a lifetime or a wedding. Shoot, people don't spend that much on a wedding dress. People save up, fathers save up for years to pay for a wedding dress that could be $2,000, $3,000, $5,000. That's as much as a freaking Toyota. And these are literally, they are called our representatives. How does somebody represent us? When they spend $12,000 on a dress, where they have enough money on the side with $6 a gallon gas, where they have $12,000 on the side just to wear it for a Thursday. I'm going to wear $12,000 today. That's not a representative of the people. None of these people are. And it's like, how does this happen? I think people like, what's his name, Fetterman or whatever, because he wears shorts and a sloppy shirt. Actually, I do too. That's the only thing I appreciate the guy. Because these other people, they don't represent us whatsoever. And right now, we are the one who's suffering. We are the ones suffering with this stuff. Especially if you have a gas guzzler and you have to. Like, we have to have an 8-seat vehicle because we have 4 kids. Like, it sucks. There's no gas-efficient 8-seater vehicle, or if there is, they're $60,000, $70,000 to invest in. You most definitely can't get one from a used car lot. So it's like, this is killing all of us. Everybody is hurt right now. Financially, everybody is hurting. And it's like, meanwhile, all of these administrations, and I mean all of them, all of the world governments are doing things to hurt us. They don't want us to prosper. Nobody cares about us. In fact, all they care about is if they can reduce the damage we're doing. They consider all of us just basically damage. They want to reduce all of the stuff that we produce. They look at us as like a number and a barcode. So I'm pretty sick to hear about all of this Saudi Arabia stuff, because they're also joining BRICS. Who's letting this happen? Gosh, it's horrendous. What do you guys think? Let me know. Give me a call at 224-400-MARF. Sweatin' Ministries, Alien Disclosures, Rapture Cover-Up. Feast days are holy appointments. Spring feasts are complete. Fall feasts are left. And then have not seen the gas rise yet here in Alexandria, Indiana. Thank you for the heads up. Where is I wonder where Alexandria is. That a small town or a big town? I know that a lot of the small towns still have like $3 or $4 gas there. Here it is $6 a gallon. I was really happy the other day. I told you guys I was like excited. I had I think it was $1 off. No, it was 60 cents off with my Safeway thing, because when you get your gas points or whatever, I got 60 cents off a gallon, and it just put me right under $5 a gallon. And I was able to get, it was like I was able to get it for basically $5. I also posted a picture for $20. I got 3.5 gallons the other day. 3.5 gallons for $20. Shoot, $20 used to fill up my Honda Accord. I mean, seriously, it was like, I don't know. It was almost full off of $20 back when it was $2. And I hate feeling like an old person, like, back in my day, it was $2 a gallon. I'm sure most of you probably remember $1 a gallon. I don't know. Some of you might remember, riding dinosaurs. I don't know. But again, it pisses me off. I feel like an old get off my lawn guy now. But it's only been a couple years. It hasn't been decades. What is wrong with the people above us? Let me know. 224-400-MARF. Before we go to the next caller, which we actually have, let's see here, Torin, a first-time caller, industrial additives and damage to the population, calling from Wisconsin. Again, while we get Torin in, remember, make sure to go over and check out marfugglenews.com/prep. If you don't have extra food in your pantry, it is most definitely one of the smartest things you can do is to get backup food and supplies. Food and water, the main staples. Again, this is a great resource for one of the most affordable packages of freeze-dried food. Freeze-dried food, again, it lasts for up to 25 years. Once you add water back in, you essentially get the meal that was packaged the day it was packaged. Freeze drying basically freezes it, takes out all of the water, all of the oxygen and water molecules, and it preserves it. It's one of the best ways to preserve it. And again, it also preserves almost all of the flavor. So this is a great resource for especially bulk. Right now they have 25% off on the 3-month plan, and that can change. It kind of bounces around, but you always get a giant discount with our code. So go over to marfooglenews.com/prep, and in fact, with that, you just need to use that link, and it will automatically give you that deal. They also have 72-hour kits for your go bags. They also have a week, 2 weeks, whatever denomination of food you want to get. It is a great deal because it is one of the most affordable compared to some of the competitors, can range up to 3 to 4 times as much. So it's a great way to bulk up and to have it there, and you will know that you'll be inflation safe for 25 years. I can only imagine, since this has tripled in the last 3 years since CV, how much it will be in 10 years from now, let alone 25 years from now. Again, in 5 years from now, if the price is tripled again, you'll still have 20 years left on the shelf, and you won't have to worry about it again for another 2 decades. marfooglenews.com/prep. Thank you. All right, Torin, you're live on Marfoogle News. What's going on?
Well, I feel like this was a good time for me to unmute my mic, because the last conversation was just how awful these people are on top. But also, you got to think, why do we let it happen? Why do so many people not even seem to notice in the slightest what these two parties on top are doing to the population? Why is there so much support? A lot of people, they blame it on some ethereal spiritual problem, but I think that the reason why people are so ignorant, I think it has a very physical basis. I think it's quite literally, I hope this isn't a censored word, but I think it's quite literally brain damage. And I can give you, there's more reasons why. There's more reasons why than I can even list. But just so that I'm not, I'm not bullshitting you. They put, for one, potassium bromate, all of the flour in the United States, 100% of it, even the locally made, mom and pop's bakery, they all use bromated flour. And this, I can tell you for a fact, this is absolutely banned. This is not allowed in many parts of the world, the EU namely. This bromate is actually the chemical that caused all of these horrible symptoms in veterans that came back from the Gulf War. I don't know why there's no consensus on this, but it's pretty clear they all took these bromate pills, and some of them took way too much because they thought it would make them healthier. I think it was supposed to negate the effects of sarin gas, and whenever they thought there was gas, they'd eat a bunch of bromate pills. And that's what caused all this brain damage in troops coming home. And this is in the bread, every bite of it. So I could continue to list these off, but I don't think that would take
well, I guess
years.
More so
a long time.
More so the point is some of the have you noticed that so some of the folks that may be in their 50s, 60s, 70s here, have you noticed a difference in the amount of people around you that have ailments and certain things that you didn't when you were a kid? I feel like it's got to be the different standards of what's in our food, the corporations that just kept cutting corners and producing food that was bigger, better, this or that. I mean, obviously you have GMOs and that kind of stuff, but then you have things that might just straight up cut corners or produce a bigger yield, but it may actually hurt you. And here's how they get away with a lot of it. They'll say, oh, well, at the level that they're doing it, it's safe. But at that same exact thing that's at a healthy level is not actually healthy. It's basically a safe level that if you had any more of it, it would be lethal.
Safe.
Go ahead.
Well, it's what we consider safe. Actually, in the EU, they keep tightening their regulations on everything, whereas we are not, in fact.
It seems like they're better over there, by the way.
Make some of your...
Would it seem to you that
everything's better over there?
In the EU, they were the first ones to outlaw the BPH or whatever in the bottles and the plastic and stuff. I just remember covering a lot more things getting banned there first, and then over here people make a big deal out of it. It goes back to what you said. It's like, why are we taking it? Why aren't we saying something about it? Because most people aren't political. Most people don't. They're not activists. 90% of us are drones that just go, okay, I'll follow the rules. But if all of us spoke up on stuff like that, it would be a huge difference. Huge difference.
Yeah, it's awful. I don't even like talking about it, but the word has to get out. Everyone's depressed over here. But what I've noticed in my community is that everyone's they're miserable. They have a lot of mental illnesses which are not cured by antidepressants. I'm not sure what words I can use, because what I'm talking about, this theory, it's the most profitable thing. It leads to the most control. When people consume the stuff that's in not just the food, but it's also in the air. Lead used to be in the gasoline until they eventually kind of slowly phased that out with some regulation. I don't even think leaded gasoline is banned, but it's basically in everything, in every product. Geez, not sure where I was going with that thought train. Must have a bunch of brain damage.
You might.
Anyways,
might have what I have today.
Profitable. This is the most profitable theory that there is, because it can lead to anything. It can lead to people agreeing with anything because of how drugged up they are. People. It also the most profitable business in the U.S. I think by far. The people who take the most, because obviously they don't provide anything, they just take. It's it's not sure if I can use this word. It's care. It's a H care.
Healthcare? Yeah. You can say that.
Okay, I can use that word because they are the richest. They do take in the most money, and this is absolutely massive. It massively exacerbates how much money they receive. Is how poisoned people are. So these people, they can afford the most lobbyists. It's really, they're the ones who can influence what is in products and influence what is allowed, what the FDA allows. Whatever healthcare wants, the FDA will allow. Let me tell you, vitamins, when I take vitamins, I feel much better. I was tired all day, every day, until I started taking vitamins. Then it's like that weight was lifted off me. You can really feel the difference. V8 to vegetables. I
want to stop you there. The one thing that did change, so I just got to warn you, so we are super careful. They just literally added something in, and it's probably related to the sieve. And you've probably noticed this on other places. Oh no, you're fine. This is actually wild. This is way above like words you can't say. They actually added something you know how a lot of channels would sell like something that was herbal or naturopathic, that they would sell like supplements and things like that. You can no longer talk about it. Dex, do you remember what it was? It was like, and basically you can't
make any you can't talk about anything that can make some sort of medical improvement unless it's an FDA approved thing. Other than that, not allowed on the platform.
Okay.
Not allowed here, right? And you guys know why, right?
This is going to right. Well, this is going to come as not a shock. Well, maybe actually a shock, but vitamins, they were discovered, I think it was 111 years ago, and the FDA has not approved them.
Yeah.
They are not intended to treat, cure. They cannot even claim to do anything. They claim to be inert, essentially, dietary supplement.
Well,
but you know what the FDA actually just did approve? They actually just approved a boat fuel that is guaranteed to give you cancer. If you use it on your boat, you will get cancer, and they just passed it right along. And this was just invented. But vitamins, absolutely not.
Yep. That's how it works. Well, by the way, and there's a large group of people that are kind of arguing and fighting and trying to bring up stuff that basically if you can create the ailment and then have the solution. It's kind of like like if you have in the medieval days, they would give you the poison and go, well, here's the antidote, but you have to do this to get the antidote. Well, the do this is actually just like, oh, pay us millions of dollars a year for your medicine and give us $10,000 a day through health insurance, which is also a RIP, which is essentially now forced. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. No, you're completely right.
Yeah, and you can see in medieval Europe, it's like society just completely stagnated. I would say we're doing the same thing here. We sort of, in the U.S., we fell off the edge of a cliff with who we currently have in power. Like, is this reversible? I don't know. How long did it take the peasants to reverse what happened to them? It was a very long process. It was a brutal process when it finally happened, the peasant revolution, and then the Enlightenment happened. But it was several hundred years that they were in the Dark Ages. Not, well, I guess that's an unspecific term, but it was several hundred years that they were in the feudal period. Whereas around the world, you see cultures advancing much faster than they are here. We see China, Europe, all of Europe building railways, like, constantly. You hear if you're looking into this stuff, you hear all the time a new high speed, like 500 mile per hour rail line was built for 1,000 miles. And China's doing some new gigantic underground tunnel, who knows? But in the U.S., you don't hear about that. You really only hear about delays, controversies, and people becoming increasingly poor.
It takes them 20.
How long?
In our state, there's a strip of freeway that has, I'm not even exaggerating, taken 20 years to fix. 20 years. Like, I remember when I was a kid, there was trouble between Seattle and Tacoma. I think they just finished it, and they're like, oh yeah, now we're going to start the street down. And it's like, oh, okay, so we're literally going to have bad traffic for life. And it's probably some deal they have with the gas company or with the oil companies. They're like, oh yeah, they're burning up gas left and right. They sit on the freeway for an hour. Either way, we do have a caller right behind you, so I do got to cut you short. But if you wanted to say one last thing before you go, go ahead.
I just have a comment to add to what you just said. Someone just tried to become governor in my state, Wisconsin. Guess what? He's the owner of a construction company. I mean, what are his interests? Are they things that last a long time and don't need repairs? Or is it cheap crap, awful gravel roads that are going to tear up right away and need replacement? He's obviously going to pick the more expensive option that drains everyone of money, because that money would go to him if he's governor, and he gets to make all of the decisions for what gets built, because he also owns the construction company.
Oh yeah, they get contract. Well, they're not supposed to, but they have ways of doing loop arounds, and then there will be they'll use like third-party companies, and what they'll do is some corporation, they'll scratch their back with some sort of law or pass something that will help them, and then in return that company will go later, and then after everybody's not looking, then they'll hire that construction company of whoever owns it to do the work. That's one thing I have seen personally, because we had a family member own a really big construction company back in the day, like 1900s, all the way up to like 1955, and there was lots of shady stuff in the construction gig. In fact, the mob was heavily involved in the construction field. I'm sure they still are. Well, again, thank you. Torin, is that how you say it? Torin or Turin?
Torin.
Torin, thank you so much for calling in today. I appreciate you. And it's your first time call. Don't make it your last, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, one last thing, guys. Do not drink these wellness oils. Just have a V8.
A V8, okay.
I see you guys in the comments talking about this stuff.
Well, hopefully V8's
All
FDA
right.
approved.
Great call.
Yeah,
I will continue listening to the live stream and seeing what these other guests have to say.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Torin. Have a good day, and you have a good one. That was Torin from Wisconsin. Thank you, Dex. Actually, yeah. Whoops. There we go. Go ahead, Dex.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you see that gas EPA approval link?
No.
I put it in screener.
I just deleted it, I think. Is it the one, the cat.com? Because I think I accidentally put the link for the show.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
Yeah. Dex put the link for it. I like double clicked it and just deleted it and posted some random
Yeah,
link.
you pasted right over it. No worries. It's back in there. But that was last month. I guess we may have missed that one, or may not have been talked about. One of those stories that you don't hear much about. But yeah, it wasn't the FDA on that one. It was the EPA. But it doesn't matter. It's our government that approved it. And check out that headline.
Wow.
And for those of you that want to read it, it'll be on the website. It'll be underneath Torrin's name, since he had mentioned it. I found it, and we've got it on the website if you guys want to go look at the article.
And yeah, JJ20, thank you for subscribing. Horo RH, thank you for subscribing. Izzy Restorations, thank you for subscribing. We have Blue Boy 1968 says, hi Adam and Foogle fam, come to Australia where we are paying $2.20 or more for a liter of unleaded at the moment. So that's a liter. There's 4 liters in a gallon, right? Dex, is it 4 liters? 4 liters makes a gallon? That's $8, over $8. I think it's roughly that.
It's a little under 3.7.
Yeah. So that you're talking about, $7-8 a gallon. That's insane. Nana MT, thank you so much for supporting. And again, thank you so much for stopping in. I know we've been trying to get on earlier. I know that you're a early sleeper, so thank you. Small town north of Indianapolis, says Swetnam. Oh, thank you for answering that. You didn't have to do it in Super Chat, but and if you do it a dollar or something, so then if it's a question answer or something. So you are in a small town, so the gas there is still cheap. That's a good thing. That gentleman says that he's in a small town as well, and that they were told by a certain time that it would be $7 a gallon, like soon, like right now. So hopefully that's not the thing. And the small towns are the ones that are hit hardest if it really hits that way. But if I go 30 miles out of city limits, I can find like $4 gallon gas. So I know there's places, most people in Washington are like, well, we still got that. Right here in Seattle, you're not going to find that. Swetnam Ministries, thank you. And Samuel Turner, of critical importance is how much military hardware is being staged directly across Taiwan. This will be a reliable tell for us. I think China moves within the next 5 weeks on Taiwan. Samuel Turner. Just to repeat that, and I believe I agree with Samuel, says of critical importance is how much military hardware is being staged right across from Taiwan. That is what's happening. They're loading up the entire coastline. They're moving gear. I would say watch the Spratly Islands right now too. I bet those Spratly Islands, that's when we need to worry. If they start loading those up like it's go time, then that's going to be freaky. Not fun. Thank you, JJ20. Again, Horo RH, thank you for subscribing. All right, we got to move through some of these because we're a little bit behind. Give us a call, 224-400-MARF. If you have something to say, then give us a call. Give us a ring. Press option 4 once you get to the phone tree. That number is scrolling right down below. Team Egg or Team Sponge? So this is an update. I actually caught this morning, and not caught it. I didn't actually catch this orange creature, but let's see here. We got pictures of it. Do you guys remember we covered this? This was the picture. They said it was a gold object at the bottom of the seafloor, but they couldn't identify it. And we were like, well, it looks like the bottom of like the spray installation. I don't know if you remember that conversation, but it kind of looks like a corner of like a box that was shaped with spray installation. But it turns out it's actually a living thing. Yeah, no joke. This is that thing, and apparently they vacuumed it up. It is living, right? Yeah. It says the mystery golden orb found at the bottom of the ocean in Gulf of Alaska is currently being preserved in ethanol aboard on research ship in Okeanos Explorer, and despite hauling it from the deep, scientists still have no idea what it is. One thing, however, is its biological in origin. Is this a frickin' alien? No joke. It's like this gold thing, right? And it's living. What if this was a virus from Mars or something, right? I'm totally joking, but I mean, really, We had an asteroid hit off the ocean there. What if that was something from an asteroid that's like some sort of thing that's going to take all of us out? That's what the movie plot would say. And heck, all of our life right now, everything in the world right now is a movie plot. Do you agree? Yes or no? Quick one in the chat. Do you agree that life is a movie plot right now all across the world? 1 for yes, 2 for no. And then Earth's mysterious core may be encased in an ancient ocean floor that has mountains 5 times taller than Everest. Yeah, they're getting wild. Like, you want to talk about movie plot? Journey to the center of Earth? And this is what they're talking about in mainstream media. Everything that's coming out, they said that our Earth's core stopped and all of it. We are in a movie 24/7 right now. Yeah, lots of ones. That's funny. Lots of ones in the chat. Look at that. Yeah. Very anxiety-giving movie. You Are Soul says, one bad B movie. Where do you think writers get their inspiration? From life. Yeah, it's true. Well, art imitates life, right? And but it seems like life is imitating art. More like a nightmare, says Karen Rax. Watchwolf. Gosh. It says there's no core. Hollow Earth. Seen that movie, Viv B. Darlene Dotson. What's going on? Quigs. Patricia Parent. Yeah, it's getting crazy. Dex, go ahead.
I just want to put my 2 cents in. I think that blob was an alien egg. And I think they scrambled it because it's all messed up now.
Did they use an as seen on TV George Foreman grill? I don't know why.
They must have done something, but it doesn't look like it did underwater, but that thing looks kind of creepy looking.
It's definitely gross. It looks like cardboard. But watch, the powers that be, they were like, let's take some cardboard and call it UFO. Then we can blame the V on it. Look at this. This looks like a carving of a finger or something at the top. You guys see that? That is so weird looking. It reminds me of the movie where they had the alien life form. I think it was, I'm forgetting, was it Jake Gyllenhaal? It was one of the movies where they're on the ship and they get a little sample from Mars. Or no, it was Ryan Reynolds. I think it was Ryan Reynolds. And this thing grows from an amoeba and it gets bigger and bigger and then it starts attacking the ship. I forget what movie that was. If somebody wants to pop the name in there. Patricia Parent, thank you guys. I'm like super blown away. Thank you so much for subscribing. Rob St. George and Patricia Parent, thank you for becoming a member. We've had a really rough time, getting recommended. So thank you. So appreciative. And then this core story, it's wild what they're saying right now. There's a lot we still don't know about our planet's core, which lies about 1,800 miles beneath our feet. Now a new study has revealed a discovery that could help researchers piece together its mysterious inner workings. The research suggests that the Earth's core could be encased in an ancient seafloor that features giant mountains 5 times the size of Mount Everest. Researchers made the discovery after creating, and they're saying discovery like it's fact, after creating the most detailed map yet of the geology beneath our planet's southern hemisphere. If confirmed, this, quote, recycled ocean floor would act almost like a blanket that keeps heat trapped inside the core. And it said that scientists have long been confused by the boundary between the mantle and the core. About 2,000 miles under the Earth's surface, conditions shift dramatically. Temperatures shoot up drastically, and the rock composition changes abruptly from solid bulk of rock to a mantle of gooey iron sludge inside the core. But one thing I wonder is, how do they even know that? Have we even drilled down? Like, it's not a movie. It's not Armageddon or whatever that movie was. Have we actually drilled down and, like, molten lava came out? Or is that just an assumption? I know we've drilled down really far, but I even remember covering a story, and they quoted in that story that, like, the farthest we've drilled down is so many feet, right? It's weird. Swetnam says, alien, demonic to deceive everyone after the rapture. Feast of Trumpets is in a couple of days. We will see what happens. Swetnam, that's why a lot of folks, they're writing those articles, because a lot of people are talking about the Feast of Trumpets, and they're talking about the other stuff, the Third Temple, all of these weird things that are happening right now, all lining up with stuff. What do you think about this? Give us a call, 224-400-MARF. What do you think? There's an Everest underneath our feet. Dex, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the lowest we've drilled is something like 40,000 feet, which is 7.6 miles. And as this article says, you got to get like 1,800 miles below or 2,000 miles below to actually hit that molten stuff. So yeah, we've technically never been there. The only thing we've done is we've used instrumentation to sort of make these scientific guesses or theories about what is down there.
I think they just make it up.
Seismographs and sonar and things like that.
I think they're just making it up. They're like, what's the best answer we could give that nobody could prove us wrong? And then when somebody proves them wrong, they're like, actually, there's Mount Everest is underneath our feet. Who knows? The asteroid hit by NASA seems to be moving strangely. High school students find. Or something's up with that, too. What the heck? Like, come on. How many weird things are there a day? Are we in a simulation? Jeez. They're saying that after NASA, we covered this when DART hit the Dimorphos. It says since it deliberately crashed a $300 million spacecraft into an asteroid, a first of its kind feat, the agency double asteroid redirection test craft slammed into the space rock Dimorphos at 14,000 miles per hour. Dimorphos orbits another asteroid called Didymos. And while neither object posed a threat to Earth, the feat showed the world that NASA could nudge an asteroid and alter its trajectory, an action that might come in handy if a planetary defense scenario were to materialize in the future. The tiny but mighty DART craft shortened Dimorphos' orbital period, or the time it takes to circle Didymos, by about 30 minutes, or 33 minutes. It looked like a tidy conclusion to a tale of success. But according to new research, the story didn't end there. From September to early November last year, a high school teacher and his students used the observatory at their California school to study the asteroid. And they found that its orbit had decreased by another full minute compared to NASA's numbers. It says the finding brought the asteroid's orbital period to 34 minutes shorter than it was pre-impact. That was inconsistent at an uncomfortable level. So they're calling out NASA. It says a math and science teacher who took part in the research. It says we tried our best to find a crack in what we had done, but we couldn't find anything. Gosh, doesn't this sound like the beginning of an end of the world movie? Like a high school freaking class is looking at this asteroid and they're going, oh, now it's moving strangely. It's at 33 minutes instead of 34. And we just did the math over and over, and it's gonna hit Earth. Don't look up. Don't look up. Why does it matter that it's not spinning? Well, I don't know, but it is kind of crazy because they're saying that now it is changing path. What if they knock this stupid thing into course to hit Earth? Which, mind you, they are also doing OSIRIS-REx, which is going to an asteroid. And then after OSIRIS-REx, that same one is supposed to come back at 2029 and link up with Apophis. Literally, the Deathbringer Apophis is going to be coming by us at 2029, and Osiris then turns that same craft into OSIRIS-APEX, and they're going to try to land on it to gather information because it's the closest that something that big has come so close. It's going to be crazy, isn't it? The years are flying by. If I'm alive in 2029, which is only a few short years, hopefully I am, we're going to see some crazy stuff. Like in the next decade, we are seeing some really crazy stuff happen. The Apophis will be big. It's going to be big. I just wonder what's going to go down with that. Hopefully it doesn't hit, though. And it says Dimorphos' unexpected behavior is not a cause for an alarm, but the asteroid still poses no threat to Earth, but it could teach scientists more about asteroid deflection. Huh. So weird. All right. And then let's see here. We've got Joe on the phone. Joe, we're going to get you on. If you want to pop in now, while we do, I just do want to remind you, if you do want to get one of the best solar generators on the market that's expandable, that's modular, that you can change, that you can use for everyday use, as far as I use mine for my tools. I get to bring power with me wherever I need it, or run a projector out in the middle of the woods and play movies for my kids while we're camping. There's all sorts of great uses other than the end of the world for a solar generator. These are awesome because essentially you get free power from the sun. When you pair this up with a foldable panel, this is an extremely portable and extremely powerful piece to have in your arsenal of survival gear. This can be expanded up to 96 batteries, and it can be altered. There are bricks that go in basically like Legos that can change the overall performance of it. They also have made the new Flex Tactical, which is, again, also silent, so you can't hear it from 3 blocks away. You can run it inside. And they also have the LT, which is the very small one. But the Tactical has heaters built into each battery. It's got a 1,500-pound latch system, and it also has a reinforced steel encasing. This is the same generator that's actually going to be heading out to the Army, the SBIR Phase 2 contract that this just won, because this was actually designed with the Air Force Research Laboratory and Energy. So as far as tough goes, these are military tough units as far as the tactical goes. But either one, whichever you go for, whatever unit you get from Energy, this is the best out there, in my opinion. And again, I think that this literally, I don't think that they have a downside that they have not added a mod that could fix because all of them have a downside, or they'll say, oh, well, they have this, but they don't have this. The great part about this is anything you want to add to it, you can go and add to it with a mod. They have UPS, they have supercharger. They also have a unit that can triple the amount of solar panels you can plug in. So make sure to go check it out, marfugglenews.com/energy. And of course, you will get a discount if you use the code Marfoogle. It helps support us, and it will help support you through any kind of storm or disaster. And it will definitely be an awesome system to have during SHTF. So just a reminder, some folks said, well, what if EMP happens? Well, you can actually get an EMP shield directly made. They are partners with, they partnered up with Energy to make a very specific EMP shield directly for the Energy Flex 1500. And to my knowledge, the Flex 1500 is the only solar generator you can get an EMP shield for. So go check it out. Thank you guys for supporting. Dex, do you want to talk about the alien corpse row breaks out as American UFO witness invited to Mexican unveiling of non-human bodies slams the unsubstantiated stunt?
Actually, Adam, we have Joe on the line.
Oh, so sorry. Yeah, again, Joe, I told you, I'm brain farting today. I'm glad that I've got Dex backing me up here. Joe, you are live on Marfoogle News.
Hey, it's all good, man. I'm a little under the weather myself. It seems to be going around a little bit.
Thank you, Joe. So you wanted to talk about the Neuralink and some other stuff.
Yeah. So I'm going to bounce off what you guys were just saying about the movies real quick, and then we can get into that. I agree with some of that movie stuff. If you watch a movie, Contagia, or I think it's Outbreak, or even the new Marvel Secret Invasion, that was happening when there was all the stuff over in Russia, literally the same day. And then there's a movie coming out, I think September 23rd, The Creator. You guys see the trailer for that?
Yeah, and the
AI takes over. The
football stunt, too, where they had the people in full makeup at the Chargers game. Creepy as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I've seen videos online where Alexa says, the third conflict happens November 23rd. So it's like, why does Alexa say those things?
I don't know. There's been a
Just
lot of
on
talk
typical-
about the 23rd, and somebody just put a what do you call it? Those a collection of all the videos and everything in Hollywood that has 9 and 2-3 in it, or 3-2-9, and those numbers. It was actually
Yeah.
it was kind of crazy because all sorts of movies and cartoons and everything had like a room 923, or it was on the clock, or they said, oh, it's going to be 923 Street. I mean, it was wild. Even if it's just totally coincidence and they're going and reaching to find those things, it's like, how much work did they have to do to find that in all those movies? And why was it used as all of those things, right? It's just weird. Weird things that happen.
I agree. So I shared an article with Dex, and my point of even calling in is, most people that are listening to this show will realize that it's a multi, like I'll use the terminology like the Ant-Man movie, where it's the multiverse. They have a timeline, and they know their end, and they might have 7 or a dozen or however many, there's several different ways that they're going to try to roll this thing out through technology, through medicine, through psychological things, through financial means. And it seems like it's all coming ahead as everything's been revealed over the past 2-3 years in a big way. And it's like a multiverse, a multi-timeline thing where it's like they have all these options and they've played their chess game out and planned for our reactions for some of this stuff. So I just want all the people that watch, I feel like we're a little bit more educated and up to speed with it, a lot of stuff, to just be aware of they're looking for us to react a certain way for some of this stuff.
Well, and even the title of this says Neuralink, Open Water, DARPA N3 in our future Matrix-style immersive VR. That's the thing. So people may not see the goggles as something that will really catch on, but we're talking about Neuralink here very soon, where you're going to have something that's a brain chip. It's so crazy to me that thinking that they may actually have it to where you'll be able to just see through your eyes, or your brain will see images with this chip. I mean, when we get to that level, we have evolved. That's literally an evolution of human beings when we are connected to computers at that level. That's not like they're putting a TV screen on your, like they had contact lenses with a TV screen on it. That was crazy to me. But you're talking about getting into the human brain. Think about what that would unlock with animals too, with other things. Like, we don't know what animals are saying. We do believe that animals like dolphins and whales have languages and things like this. What if we'll be able to pick images from brains? So the same thing that will show you images or VR in your brain, like Neuralink and DARPA N3 and all these projects that they're doing, think about that. They could pull images out. That is scary. That's terrifying.
Yeah, nothing sacred anymore. And I know you guys will link up the article. There's one of the projects is called Mona. I think that's how, or Moana. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but it uses gene technology to modify the neurons in the brain, it says. And I'm not sure how, I never read articles too much from this website, but I have researched some of this stuff separately on verified websites. So I know a little bit about it. I'm not going to say I'm an expert. I'm definitely a novice, because there's just something, you consume so much information every day. But they're talking about blood-brain barriers if you keep going into it, and they can read your mind with a near-infrared light. I don't know if anybody knows about the quantum dot, but I suggest, if you never heard of the quantum dots, Google that and look into what's in that and how it relates to everything we've been seeing in the past 3 years. And the dots will connect if you do the work.
So something that Bjorja, the writer of this, I've never seen this website, but I'll have to check it out. It looks very interesting. The Bjorja, Laszlo Fazekas, writes here. It says
it was an interesting read.
It says that but not only Elon is the only one who builds brain-machine interfaces. I've written an article about open water, which uses near-infrared light and holography, I believe, to build a cheap and more accurate MRI-like machine that can non-evasively read, and in parentheses, and possibly write the human brain. We're talking about, the other day I was talking about burning discs back when it was super expensive, like to burn a DVD, which, by the way, is fascinating to think about, even the technology that does that these little dots and things that it's burning on has data, pictures, and all of this. But to do that on a human brain, this is where we are headed. If people don't think that our world is about to change drastically, then I would say, how do you think that this is going to work into how culture is and how everyone is set up for their 9-to-5s? Do you think that things are just going to keep going out as they are when there's robots that can do absolutely everything a human can? When humans are connected directly into computers, either that or a secret group or some group is going to go, well, we can't have this, and they're going to try to take everything down before that happens. There may be groups out there that want to do that. All the stuff we're worried about, EMP and stuff like that. There might be groups doing that, thinking that they're doing it for a good reason, right? Like to stop all
and that's
Terminator.
The thing, a lot of this stuff could be used. It could be used for good, but we know that not everybody on the planet is righteous, and some of them are encapsulated with the 7 sins. But going into the quantum dot thing, not on this article, on other articles I've read over the past several months, they use technology like Bluetooth or like Wi-Fi, and they did experiments on mice where they were able to control their minds. And we all know, whatever they're letting us know about on any of these sites or in any of these videos or newscasts, they're probably a couple steps ahead of what they're letting us know. And just from my understanding, and I've been awake since the anniversary a couple days ago, so I'm 20 some years into being involved with this stuff, so I've seen a lot.
Now, the project Moana, this is what I'm talking about with NeuroStrike and stuff. So it says that the Moana uses special V's, right? This word, I'm going to put it up on screen. It's what you get, and I might have one right now.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
To deliver the genes. I'm sure people are going to go all over the place with this. But that's why
connect the dots.
Yep. Yeah, that's targeted brain parts, and people are just listening to everything. Going back to the prior caller, saying that there's stuff in there that makes. They even said that it can make you agreeable.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is look into graphene, and graphene has a Lucifer particle in it. It's this black goo, and
you
there's
got to be
rumors
careful.
that there
you
were
got to
certain
be careful
batches.
with that though, because that's the kind of stuff that they try to.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. Well, the thing they're trying to put on our face had some of those chemical components in it, certain batches of what they want us to put back on.
Yep.
So that's just a little it's weird because I'll come across these things and I might not even generally know about too much of it per se, but I'll take a little mental note, or I'll write something down in my notebook, and then I just keep coming across, just like I found this article today, and I was like, man, this is a pretty wild article, but there's a lot of truth into it if you're researching science and technology and stuff, where it's once you're aware of certain things, the dots just start to connect themselves.
Yeah, this is a good writer. I'll have to check out some of his other work. This will be over on our website.
Yeah, I literally found it about 2 hours before I called you guys, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to call in today and see what you guys have to say.
No, it's very, very cool. It would almost be cool to talk to this guy. Might send him an email if I can. Well, again, thank you. Fascinating call, and we're going to attach this to our website so everybody in the Foogle fam will be able to go read this article. And I think that I would encourage everybody to go read this, because it sounds like they're pretty much breaking down the stuff that we've been talking about with connecting these things. And even the delivery systems to bring them into the equation. We talked about China. It's crazy because mainstream will mention China doing this, but they won't mention anybody else doing it. They talked about China, how they could have literally basically a bullet, a microscopic bullet that could put something in you that could change your overall makeup. This is the stuff that is being developed right now. It's no longer science fiction. It is becoming science fact, and that is terrifying.
And you know, there's that certain big national radio host that none of us are supposed to listen to. I was watching one of his videos earlier today, and that's where I heard what he was saying, and I always, you know, I hear some wild things, and then I start to do my own research, and he's usually right about most things, you know, 98% of the time. So
yep,
it's definitely something to look into.
The He Is Right cup is filled up. Well, again, Joe.
Yeah, that boy's overflowing.
Great call. Again, thank you so much. It's go ahead.
Let me just say one last thing before you guys let me know or let me go. Everybody that's listening, you guys are more powerful than you know. Stay educated. Make sure you guys stay healthy. Prep. Listen to these guys. I tune in a couple times a week, as much as I possibly could. And even though there's all this crazy stuff going on in the world, we'll all get through this together and never give up hope. We're all capable of doing better and being better people, you know?
Yeah, nobody is perfect. There's a couple basic rules that you can go by, and it will instantly make everybody better. If you just treat people like you want to be treated, and try not to judge and put people down, I think those are basic ones that if we all start doing it, we'll be better off. None of us are perfect. Everybody breaks the rule every once in a while, but again, I think that's even a simple way for all of us. And that's one thing about the Foogle fam is that's why it's always been a rule. We don't talk badly about other creators. We don't do this kind of stuff because right now the thing is we're looking up. That's where we should be looking. Everybody's fighting with each other.
Yeah, peace, love, and
when
unity.
We should be looking up.
Peace, love, and unity.
Well, that's why.
Definitely. Hey, I respect you guys on what you guys do every day. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, well, thank you, Joe. Well, like the movie Don't Look Up, that has more than one meaning, and it's not the great change. Don't look up is like, you know, nobody's looking up at the people above us. Everybody's looking at each other. And that is
Yeah.
ignorant.
We need to stick together, man. We need to stick together, that's for sure.
Darn right. Well, thank you so much. Joe, have a good night. And, you know, don't be a stranger. All right. Bye, Joe. That was Joe from Pennsylvania. Again, that article is available over on marfooglenews.com. You just have to go down to the overflow. All right. And this is another big thing. I was going to talk about this, and I forgot to add it into my video over on news, and I hope we might even have to put this in tomorrow into a news video, because this is obviously everybody remembers this speech. It was very creepy, symbolic. Nobody understands why the heck they did that. Colors, they pay attention to everything, from the shoes they wear, from the ties they wear, to how much scuffing is on their shoes, as we saw in the Adjustment Bureau. That's a real thing. That might be in a movie, but that's a real thing. They pay people to give them advice, like, you know, how much scuffing should your dress shoes have so you were late, you know, these kind of stupid things. What color you should wear for the state and city you're in, these kind of things. So for them to do this and then to basically talk about the threat of these certain people, that was one thing. Well, now there's rumors, and it's turned into mainstream news because it sounds like it's true. In fact, I believe it's from CNN, which of course it is saying that he is planning to have a focused speech after the next GOP debate on the different threats. So something is getting worked on right now. So planning to deliver a major speech in Arizona later this month on what his campaign says are ongoing threats to democracy. What do you think that's going to be? A day after the Republican presidential primary. What do you want to bet that's going to be? Who do you think the threat is going to be, right? I don't think you need to be a brain sturgeon or a rocket flyingist to really figure that one out. All right. Thank you, Joe, and sorry for almost skipping you. Gosh, it is a live show, so anything can happen. Absolutely anything can happen. So thank your mods right now. Drop an M in the chat, please, and make sure to go over to marfooglenews.com/friends and find them there as well. Lots and lots of great people. Wait, how did I do that? Did I just do something on accident? Let's see here. How did I do that? Did I? That wasn't... How did I zoom in like that? That was cool. Anything can happen, like I said. Nope, that doesn't work. How did that work then? Well, anyways, I'll have to go back and look at what I did. Either way, make sure to go over to marfooglenews.com/friends. And thank you, Sweatnam Ministries. Again, lots of support tonight. Thank you, Sweatnam. I appreciate that. Don't look up when Jesus say, look up for him. And Alex Sandor, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the Foogle fam. Welcome to the Marfia. That's how the Antichrist will cause all to take the mark in the right hand and forehead. Revelation 13, says Sweatnam. And then Patricia Parent from Canada. Thank you. Thank you for your support. And you can always write something there. I know a lot of people do the super stickers, but you can always write a comment with a super chat, which is cool. Had to step away from all the stuff for a bit. Nutty, because even being away, I feel that I still know. I agree with you. Sounds like Don't Look Up. That's funny, Kenny Cams, and I believe you commented that before we were talking about it. Iris K, thank you for subscribing. Rob St. George, thank you for subscribing. Thank you, everybody that is sharing our stuff out. That's the main way that people find our show. It's you bring somebody in that you know is not completely a drone, or I prefer almost not to bring in the complete drones because then they just come in, call people names and stuff. But I guess it's a good thing. There have been a lot of people that have watched the show, and it's not because of the show itself. I think it's more also the community. And when people see that there's thousands of people around them that might be saying the things that they're thinking, but they're too afraid to say, I think that's when people start coming out of their shell and going, whoa. And that's when people start waking up. That's when people start coming out of the pod, right? As that showed. Because it seems like everybody is in pods like this now. Like they were in the Matrix, right? And by the way, this movie and all of the stuff, the blue pill and the red one, they're turning that into some sort of op. Like, if you do that, then you're part of this group or that group, and they're trying to label people that talk like that. It's so stupid. Like, people just want the truth. That's all. And guess what? There's not a lot of it out there. And it's really horrible. Okay, so before we go over, we're going to go over the web only with Dex. But first, I do want to remind you, if you, again, you can go with the pre-made route, but I do want to remind you guys, there's $300 off the pro unit. Go with the harvest rate. I am, again, this is something that I have spent a lot on the pre-done freeze-dried food. It's a great option. But again, when you are really trying to prep for big amounts of time, if you can get your hands on a freeze dryer like this, you can cut the cost of prepping food in a third. It is a third of the cost to prep your own food, and you can cut it to almost zero if you grow your own vegetables and stuff like that, that's why we're going to do it. We're going to preserve all of our fruits and vegetables that we grow ourselves, and then we can keep it for 25 years. Not only that, you can go and get things on the thrift. You can go get things in bulk and then freeze dry it and preserve it for 25 years. You also get to customize your meal plans. That's what's so awesome about this. This is a professional freeze dryer that will literally preserve your food for 25 plus years. It is the best process to do it because it preserves all of the flavor, or almost all of the flavor in most cases, and it is this one of the safest ways to go to preserve it. Once you, in 10 years from now, you add water back in or cook it in water, boom, you've got yourself the meal that you made 10 years prior. So I don't think that there's much better of a thing other than a generator to have in a prep kind of arsenal. So go to marfooglenews.com/freeze. Again, for $300 off on any of the Pro units. And again, you can also enter to win one at that same website. So if you can't afford one, at least go enter that contest. That's definitely a very awesome thing. And Dex, let's go over the all of the overflow.
Absolutely. And hey, even if you can't afford one and you buy one and you enter the contest and win, when you win, they'll give you back the money you spent based on the contest giveaway. I thought that was interesting in the rules. It's pretty nice of them. But anyway, head over, if you're new here and you don't know what I'm about to tell you about, head over to marfooglenews.com. Click on the thumbnail for today's show, or hit that show notes link. It's down below in the description. It'll take you to this webpage with everything that we've been talking about, all the links, the sources. That's all there for you. And then you're going to find a yellow bar. That's the overflow. It's the rest of the story, which we're going to talk about right now. There's a lot happening there. And then when you get below that, you'll find all the caller information. I just want to remind you, I know everybody was, Torin had some great stuff. Mateo has a link to his channel. Joe had some great stuff to talk about. All of those links are there as well. So in the overflow, what's going on? Lots happening here. So, interesting tweet that starts it off from the BBC and some educational videos they're creating for the children in the UK. If you want to go learn more about that history that they're trying to portray, that's what it is. Go take a look. You can find out more on your own by going to the website. Apparently, Oprah, who has been talked about quite a bit, given the stuff that was going on in Hawaii, is shocked at all the vitriol. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. So
she is
she's sad too.
Her and The Rock, which, by the way, The Rock in his single video, not knowing, because I didn't know about it, it was like 2 days after he did the video, I saw it, and I totally saw it separate from the video that he did with Oprah, and that one is just cringe. It's like by the way, so they're asking us to put money up, and the biggest point that people were like, you're hypocrites, is there's all of these celebrities in Maui that were totally fine. Go door to door to those guys and get some of their money instead of asking us for money. Why don't you grab all of your celebrity friends and you guys put up all of that money? They put up $5 million, and for The Rock, that's nothing. But for Oprah, that's toilet paper. That woman flies Ezel's Chicken from my hometown of Seattle, flies a fried chicken meal all the way to Hawaii because she likes the chicken place so much. To put you in perspective, like, who does that? I could see like Uber Eats. But Uber flies? I mean, like, this woman is over the top rich, owns everything, and $5 million, and I'm sorry. $5 million is a lot. But it's also something like, and she said, and because a lot of people said $5 million is nothing to you, she said, after all of this, then I'll probably do another big, more significant one. But the only reason why they even did it in the freaking first place is because Oprah and The Rock had their names in newspapers because they said their houses were okay. The only reason they even did the thing in the first place, not because they care, because there's all these other celebrities that aren't mentioned on that same row. None of them did it. Just so happens the same ones, because they had recognizable houses that people said, oh, this person and that person. Within like hours of them pointing out that their houses were okay, they come out with this thing, right? And it's like the only reason is for PR, for public relations, because their agents or somebody who's advising them said, "Oh, you should do this." That's what I think. It disgusts me though. Like go to your friends. You have hundreds, especially Oprah. Oprah has the most friends out of anybody. She could gather $1 billion today if she called up all of her friends. Easy. And it wouldn't hurt any of them. And they're asking us who can't even afford to get groceries. It's stupid. Sorry, Dex. I ranted. Thy rant.
Yeah, well said. Well said. And I think she is sad and shocked over your vitriol, Adam. But let's move on. Look, there's a lot of other things happening. The Hunter story, or what's happening with the current president's kid, or child or son. It's not really a child, he's an adult. Apparently, it's up for potentially 25 years if this goes according to the charges, but I doubt that would actually happen. That's just my own opinion, but we'll be paying attention. But the indictments are out now for him. So all of that coverage is there if you want to see it. Of course, then you got all the political coverage. I'm not going to go into it. You guys can go fight about it over the water cooler, because that's those types of topics. We do have that. Some other things happening in the realm of what's going on in UKR. So I got a little bit of the updates there that we can talk about with the Musk's denial of service, as they're calling it, and some other things that have been happening. Apparently, and speaking of Musk, he's also been saying now that he has been doing random tests to prove that he's not, on anything after his appearance with Joe Rogan, when he says he doesn't like to do those things anymore. So anyway, go read it if you want to know more about it. Lots of other things happening, even updates with MGM, still having problems, still suffering from that outage. They're working through it. And then, of course, all the updates with UKR, which I mentioned earlier. So that and so much more, it's on the website. It is literally an entire show's worth of content. So if you've not gone to the website and looked at the overflow, you should. There's a lot. We take our time to put it together for you every night. We try to find all the relevant information that's important to what's going on. We present what we can in the show, and what doesn't make it in there falls right here. And it's plenty. It's not just the garbage. It is actually everything else we just couldn't get to. So it is here for you as a resource. So use it. Let's not lose it. Let's keep it going. Marfooglenews.com. Click on the thumbnail for the show, or open up that show notes link down below in the description. It'll take you right here.
Yeah, it's important you guys are able to utilize it. It's also archived. It's searchable, and not too many channels that do daily events and things have a full bibliography like this. They might put a couple links down in the comments, but there's no way going back. You can search this. So make sure to utilize it, guys. Thank you, Sweatin'em Ministries. I believe you are the top supporters tonight, with Nana MT being second. Thank you so much. Sweatin'em, thank you for the massive support tonight. You didn't have to do that, but it is more than appreciated. Same with Nana MT, Patricia Parent, Kenny Cams. Again, Patricia Parent from Canada. And then Samuel Turner, Rumble the Clown, Be Real Beast, Snow Leo, KT Cleans a Lot, and Preppermint. Thank you so much. Along with Danish Girl, I'm glad. Thank you for popping in tonight. I saw you. Thank you so much for your support yesterday. I cannot say thank you enough. Dex, thank you, and thank you.
Much love. Great job, brother.
So for anybody that's new, there's a few new subscribers. It is now time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shoutro. Wait, dang it. I already screwed it up. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro.
So about the Evo, cut 'em up like half of the DeVito, stitch 'em up like Lilo, put 'em down on the real though. Hey, wanna song about the Evo, cut 'em up like half of the DeVito, stitch 'em up like Lilo, put 'em down on the real though. If you really want to start down an A, if you really want to be about it, look at yourself and stop judging. Ay, if you really want to lie about me, ay, if you really want to start down an A, if you really want to be about it, look at yourself and stop judging. Ay, If you really wanna lie about me, ay. If you really wanna start down, ay. If you really wanna be about it, look at yourself and stop judging. Evil, if you do, you my people. Open up the steeple, dust them off like Cheeto. Hey, what a song about this evil. If you do, you my people. Open up the steeple, dust them off like Cheeto. What a song about the evil. Cut them up like half a DeVito. Stitch them up like Lilo. Put them down on the real though.